Even in the ranks of the NFL, there are guys who are finding ways to take that crazy lifestyle up to a whole new level.
Von Miller talks for the first time about a recent fishing trip in Florida that got him in hot water with Florida wildlife authorities.
There are a lot of opportunities opened up to some of these guys that us average Joes could hardly even dream of. So let's take a look at 10 NFL players that live the wildest lifestyles. First up, we have the lone linebacker on this list, former Super Bowl MVP and two-time champ, Von Miller. The now Buffalo Bill, who spent most of his career with the Denver Broncos before snagging his second ring in LA last year, has resumes, both in terms of success on the field and living a wild life off of it, that can go up against anybody. After all, this is a guy who got traded from Denver in part because of a dispute with his teammates over a six-figure Halloween party that he threw last year.
No, I got to ask you about the reports that came out, I believe it was today, about Von Miller, the Halloween party. The report was that, there was issues in the locker room because of the price tag of the party and Von approaching guys to throw in money for the party and approaching rookies and young guys to throw in money for the party. Do you know anything about that? Is that true? Is that not true?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is my first time hearing about that. It's kind of sad that got out of our locker room. I feel like that should be something that stays in the locker room. But I guess I'll clarify for it. It was a situation where we were planning on having this Halloween party, and that was the thing. And then we had dropped a couple games. Vaughn had contacted everybody in the group chat saying, hey, I'm thinking about canceling the party. We want to we want to win games. We got to focus on winning games. That was his biggest thing, being improvement driven, focus on winning games and things like that. So he did try to cancel it. Guys still wanted to have it. And then it kind of went south from there.
In many ways, Vaughn has transcended football and become a figure in pop culture. He was referenced in an episode of South Park when a character is sent to Denmark under the alias Ambassador Von Miller.
Your name, please? Miller. Von Miller. I'm the ambassador of technology from the Turkish islands. Oh, yes, of course, Ambassador Miller.
He's also made appearances on Dancing with the Stars and Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. He isn't just some industry-backed figure, though. Vaughn has a number of, let's say, interesting hobbies. Miller is an avid outdoorsman and has been hunting and fishing since he was a wee boy. In fact, his dad taught him how to shoot a BB gun as a very small child. Nowadays, he's left the BB on the shelf in favor of a more accurate rifle or bow. Back in 2018, Miller found himself under investigation by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission for an improper catch and release of a hammerhead shark. Now, if this weren't enough for you, Vaughn also sought to put his days of studying poultry science at Texas A&M to good use by owning and operating his own chicken farm. Now, I have to crunch the numbers, but I think Von Miller may be the only star athlete to not only transcend sports into celebrity, but also run their own farm. One of his teammates during last year's Super Bowl run, Odell Beckham Jr., also lives quite a wild life himself. For starters, he's extremely popular amongst A-list celebrities like Beyonce, Drake, and James Corden, not to mention his relationships with some of the most famous athletes from other sports like LeBron James and David Beckham. These relationships, along with his talents on the field, have opened up the floodgates for Beckham to live an eccentric life that touches a variety of different interests. Odell has made cameos in a couple of popular television productions like Code Black and Ballers.
Where'd you get that jacket, man?
Michael Jackson's closet.
Along with a number of music videos. We are talking about bona fide stars like Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande, Chris Brown, and the aforementioned Drake. As competitive as he is on the field, OBJ clearly likes to have a good time off of it as well, as evidenced by his controversy back in 2020 when he was partying down in Baton Rouge watching his alma mater win the national championship. He is flashy on the field, effortlessly snagging one-handed catches, and he's just as flashy off of it, regardless of the consequences that may come his way. Like ending up on the wrong side of PETA after an outing with some exotic animals at a roadside zoo in South Carolina. Odell isn't the only star pass catcher that lives a wild life, though. In fact, we've seen quite a few over the years. Take DeSean Jackson, for example. Over the years, this seemingly timeless deep threat has built a reputation for his ability to take the top off a defense and party with the best of them. Seems like every time that Jackson lands with a new team, the first thing that he does is throw himself a big old-fashioned welcome party in his new city. When he signed with Washington back in 2014, pictures circulated of him at the Huxley, a popular club where he was carrying around a massive bottle of Moet champagne that he signed and then passed around for the rest of the party to enjoy. Then, when he went back to Philly in 2019, he threw another banger at Stratus Rooftop Lounge. That was absolutely packed out with friends, family, and of course, a couple of celebrities. But that's just how DeSean Jackson gets down. This is a man who once had 2 custom cakes on site at his 27th birthday party. One was a Mercedes with a jackpot license plate, and the other was a stack of $100 bills. Tack on the fact that he found himself as the central character on a reality show, Home Team, and, well, there is absolutely no denying that the speedster lives life in the fast lane. Kinda like Travis Kelce, another great pass catcher who, like DeSean Jackson, lived a life built for reality TV. So much so that he actually had one of his own on E! Titled Catching Kelce. The show is basically a reiteration of The Bachelor built by Kelce for Kelce. Which, I suppose, if you're widely considered to be one of the NFL's most eligible bachelors, is a pretty good strategy. Kelce's affinity for having a good time is absolutely no secret, though. In fact, after the 2020 AFC Championship game, he basically declared it for the whole world to see with his epic Fight for Your Right to Party soundbite.
You gotta fight for your right to party!
And once they took home the Lombardi Trophy, Travis did exactly that. During the Chiefs' celebratory parade through Kansas City, he threw a WWE Championship belt over his shoulder and tore it up like I imagine the college version of him at Cincinnati always dreamed he would. The post-Super Bowl party lasted all summer long, too, as evidenced by this epic boat party that he and teammate Pat Mahomes threw on Lake Tahoe that July. And as great as it is to actually win the Super Bowl, I'd have to imagine the party that you've earned in the process is damn near just as sweet. It isn't just the bona fide star receivers that are living these wild lives outside their team facilities either. We've seen a couple of these guys over the years, like Danny Amendola and Rashad Higgins, show that even life as an average pro athlete is way more exciting than anything us regular folk ever get into. Starting with the former, Danny Amendola may have been a journeyman wide receiver as far as football is concerned, but he's had some all-pro accomplishments off the field. Namely, his albeit somewhat tumultuous relationship with fashion icon Olivia Culpo. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this celebrity couple did eventually go up in flames, when Danny went scorched earth posting a novel to Instagram about everything that was wrong with their relationship. It has since been deleted, but wowee was it rather unhinged ranting. Which, to Danny's credit, I do think he realized. Because shortly after he deleted it, he put up a seemingly self-aware post, which was a photo captioned, "Now that that's over, let's party." Higgins, on the other hand, his wild lifestyle is quite literally that. Wild, as in outdoors, because the Mesquite, Texas native picked up a rather unique fishing technique that he affectionately refers to as noodling. For those of you that are team indoors and may not be familiar with noodling, it is a term that references catching catfish with one's bare hands. It's pretty clear that this is no normal life that Higgins lives. Next up, we have 3 guys representing the quarterback position: Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Russell Wilson. All 3 treat relationships in a way that skews away from the norm. Starting with Russ, who tries to keep up a sort of choir boy-esque image. Well, he's already on wife number 2, as he promptly divorced his first wife after getting drafted into the NFL. And now he's married to Ciara, who is a huge celebrity in her own right. And to muddy the waters even more, Russ is also now extremely involved in the life of Ciara's former son from a previous relationship, which is nice and all. Glad to see he's being a good father figure, but his stepson's father just so happens to be Future, who is one of the biggest rappers in the world right now. I don't know the exact arrangements they have set up, but you have to imagine there were some downright outrageous interactions between the two trying to coordinate visitation weekends. Rodgers is fresh off a broken engagement with actress Shailene Woodley, which was just his latest in a string of very public celebrity relationships. First, here's link with Gossip Girl star Jessica Soar. Then it was actress Olivia Munn. After he and Munn split, he had a brief fling with SI model Kelly Rohrbach. Then started up a serious relationship with race car driver and model Danica Patrick. He also seems to run in a couple of interesting circle of friends, as evidenced by his connections on internet sensations Pat McAfee and Joe Rogan. The third and final QB, Jimmy G, well, he too keeps busy. He's just been careful to try and keep as much of his love life private after he quickly learned how under the microscope he'd be as the Niners starting QB. Once pictures started circulating of him out to dinner with adult film star Kiar Mia. Life is different now, Garoppolo told TMZ. It's like 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan said. It's a good learning experience. Just have to take it in stride. It is what it is. Last but not least, we have former Philadelphia Eagles star running back LeSean "Shady" McCoy, who proved to be a force to be reckoned with off the field in addition to his exploits running with the rock in his hands. After all, this is the guy who during one offseason threw a females-only 21+ a must party at a private location and had it advertised on social media. Now, if that wasn't strange enough, the automatic response that those RSVPing allegedly got took it to whole new heights. Would-be patrons were required to submit pictures, social media info, full name, and sign confidentiality agreements. Oh, and in case you were wondering, no +1s, which really shouldn't come as much of a shock here. Needless to say, his new team, the Buffalo Bills, weren't exactly thrilled with the optics around McCoy's party. The whole situation only got weirder too. At a press conference shortly after, McCoy went out of his way to explain there was no weird orgy thing going on. I don't know, that sounds exactly like what a star athlete who lives a wild life and was trying to plan an orgy would say.
Shady, wait a minute, that's my girl, dawg.
But which NFL player do you think has the wildest lifestyle? Did we miss anyone? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.